So in the last video, we have learnt about request for quotation process, how to send the quotation, how to update the amount into quotation, and how to shortlist a quotation or a vendor. Before we go forward and issue this purchase order into SAP, let us understand what is purchase order. Friends, purchase order is a legal document which a buyer issues to the vendor or supplier, and once it is accepted by the supplier, it will take or it will become a legal document or a contract between both parties. And this legal document is going to have the detail of our requirement, the detailed negotiated price, which is the final price as per quotation sent by the vendor. Third is the address where he has to deliver the material or products or supply. Fourth is payment terms, how we are going to pay, when we are going to pay, what is the timeline of payment. Fifth, what is the timeline of delivery, in how many days he has to deliver. And sixth, penalty clause. If he delivers the wrong product, if he delivers the faulty product, or he do the late delivery, then we will mention that we are going to impose 5% penalty on 10 days late, 10% penalty on 20 days late, like that. So every single element, every single legal wordings will be mentioned into that purchase order document. So now we will exercise this purchase order document into SAP. So now we are going to issue purchase order to our shortlisted vendor for our requirement, which we have discussed in our last video. And for that I am going to select path, SAP menu, logistics, material management, purchasing, purchase order, and create. Here you can see we have 4 options, means 4 transactions to create a purchase order, like vendor / supplying plant known, vendor unknown, or via requisition assignment, or automatically via purchase requisition. But in my case, we have shortlisted our vendor. It means we know who is our vendor against a purchase requisition. So we will select the first T code, that is vendor / supplying plant known. So now I have entered to my create purchase order portal, which is a look like similar portal to the create purchase requisition. Now the first thing which I am going to do is to select the type of order. You can see there are many types of order defined in my SAP system. But in my case, I am looking for an external procurement against a standard PR. So type of PO will be standard PO. We are going to discuss about rest type of PO in our upcoming session. So select here standard PO. And the next thing you have to enter the vendor code. Since we have already shortlisted our vendor, so I am entering my vendor code 105 and enter. Now there are some mandatory things you can see at the bottom. Enter purchasing organization. So purchasing organization is PO1. Purchasing group, again purchasing group enter. So again enter purchasing group. So purchasing group is IPR. Company code is not defined, then enter company code, which is IMC, and hit enter. So step by step, SAP was telling us the missing entry and we have entered the same. And about this purchasing organization, purchasing group, company code, we have already discussed before creation of PR when we have understood the organization structure. So in order to go forward, I have 2 options. One, to enter the data of material, quantity, delivery date and everything and process this PO. You can create PO directly from here. Or to take the reference from request for quotation. You can also take reference from purchase requisition directly. But it is a standard process that firstly we are requesting purchase requisition, then we are issuing request for quotation, we are maintaining data into request for quotation, and then we are shortlisting the vendor, and now we are adopting the quotation sent by our shortlisted vendor. So in order to adopt the purchase requisition or request for quotation, the standard procedure is to click on this 3 tab. This 3 tab is coming in this document overview. If you off it, the portal will look like this. So in order to adopt that, you have to click over here, then click on this tab, and here I can adopt purchase requisition or request for quotation. So I am adapting my request for quotation, and you have already selected vendor 105. So click on vendor code 105, plant, that is IMP. This is again a search portal where you have to provide the search criteria, then execute. So these are 3 quotations which you have received from this vendor so far. So we already know that our shortlisted quotation number is 6000009. If you still want to confirm the quotation number, you can open the new tab. There is a shortcut method by clicking here. Then ME43, this is to view quotation. You just copy this by Ctrl C, paste it over here and execute, and you can see this is quotation received by 105 vendor, and this is the line item. So we'll go back and click over here, and now I am going to click on adopt. So you can see all data from this quotation have been adapted to my purchase order. Now we don't need this document overview tab, so just switch it off. Now we will discuss about these all header tabs one by one. We'll go to delivery/invoice, and the first entry in this tab is payment terms. Payment terms are predefined terms at the time of configuration of SAP into your plant. Now, at the time of creation of vendors, and it is a standard process to define the terms of payment with the vendor, and so at the time of creation of vendor code, these payment terms are usually defined in the vendor code itself. So once you enter the vendor code over here, by default the payment term is going to be captured. But in our system where payment terms are not assigned to vendor code, so it is showing blank. Now in some cases, if you want to enter the payment terms, and in some cases the payment terms can vary, or we may deviate from the standard payment term for an individual vendor for some specific purchase order, then you can change that payment term. Payment terms are basically terms in which we are going to pay to vendor. So let us see what are payment terms configured in our system. So click on the search tab. So payment term 0001, it means we are going to pay complete amount on due net. It means we are going to pay immediately the due net amount. Second payment terms, if we are going to pay before 30 days, we will get 2% discount. If we will pay from 15th to 30th day, we have to pay due net. And similarly, payment term 0003, 0004 and everything is configured over here. We have total 9 payment terms. So let us select payment term second. So these next 3 entries are basically part of the payment term. So I am going to execute this payment term, and here you can see if you pay before 14 days 2% discount, if you pay in 30 days 0% discount, it means due net, or you can also put 30 over here. So let us take the third entry. You can check before 14 days 3% discount, 15 to 20 days 2% discount, and 21 to 30 days we have to pay net due amount. Now we'll go to Incoterms, that is internationally accepted terms, and these terms are relevant to the transportation of the goods. And these Incoterms are defined by the International Trade Market. You can Google about them and learn what are all the Incoterms and their detailed meaning. So you can see there are Incoterms defined in our SAP. Cost and freight, CFR, CIF, cost, insurance and freight, and like this. Free FOB means free on board, and like this there are so many Incoterms defined in our system, and these are not SAP specific, these are basically defined in our international market. So we are selecting the first one, that is CFR, cost and freight. What it means, that cost of product and freight cost means transportation of that goods till the warehouse is in scope of vendor. And if we select FOB means free on board, means from cost of product till onboarding that product on our ship, means if we are importing that, or onboarding that product on truck, if we are transporting through the truck, is in the scope of vendor. But when the transportation cost will come in our scope, unloading cost is going to come in our scope. Here also CFR, unloading cost is in our scope. So you can Google about these Incoterms details. And now currency, that is INR. Since we are issuing purchase order to Indian vendor only, but if you are issuing purchase order to some international vendor, you have to select their currency of our transaction, which may be USD, which may be Euro, of anything which is a mode of our payment, you have to select over here. And this exchange rate is important. If you are selecting any fixed exchange rate, like you did a negotiation 3 days back and you have decided that we are considering this deal on exchange rate of 74 rupees per USD, then you have to put 74 rupees and click on this fixed exchange rate. But if you want the dynamic exchange rate, in that case don't check it. And please note, all organizational SAP system is configured with runtime data of currency conversions or currency exchange rates. So in that case, once you put the currency, your system is going to automatically define the exchange rate. Now we'll go to condition tab. So you can see these are all payment term condition, and the condition are nothing but the payment term details, that is gross price whatever it is, and if you pay before date you will get 3% discount. These are the payment conditions captured from the payment term. Then text tab, like we have mentioned in our purchase requisition, you can also mention the header text and header note over here in this purchase order. So I am mentioning PO for gift headphones against PR from plant for Indian manufacturing plant as per directives of GM and approval in business plan 2020-21. Now we will go to address tab. Address tab is basically consisting the address of the vendor. If there is some modification, you can do over here manually. Then communication, this is the detail of salesperson of vendor, not ours. Then partners, you don't need to worry about that. Additional data, again here collective number you can put for this PO. And organization data we have already submitted. Status. So just like there is a status tab in purchase requisition, we have a status tab in purchase order also. So in this case, the purchase order, you can see we have ordered a total amount of 10,250 rupees, 10 quantities, and still to deliver is 10 quantity. Once you will get the delivery, same will be updated over here. Once you will get the invoice and input the invoice, that will again be delivered over here. And once you will issue the payment, that will be updated over here. So you can track your status of PO by this status tab. And this is customer data, is not an important. So now we will go to item description part. So you can see over here, all item details part have been captured from request for quotation. So you need not to be worried about anything of this. And you can see my purchase requisition number also captured. Since we have created request for quotation from a purchase requisition and further we have adopted the request for quotation for this PO, so automatically the reference purchase requisition have been captured over here. But in case if you are directly issuing the PO without adopting the request for quotation or purchase requisition, this data is not going to come here. So anyways, big MNCs have a configuration that they will not allow you to create purchase order directly. You will have to put the reference purchase requisition number or quotation number. So outline agreement, this is basically annual supply contract. If you have annual supply contract with any of the vendor to supply some spare on a fixed rate basis or your predefined rate basis for some years, it may be 1, 2, 3. So in that case, you need not to go for request for quotation. You can directly create this purchase order by putting the outline agreement number as a reference. You can also see the request for quotation, which is the reference we have adapted over here. So everything, whatever the necessary details is captured by the system. Now we will go to third tab, that is item detail. We will start with the first data, that is material data. So material data, whatever the required entry, it is automatically captured by our system. Quantities and weight, so 10 quantity. Weight is not configured in material data, material master. So at the time of creation of material master, usually we mention the weight of material per unit. So if you mention over there, the system will capture the weight. Anyways, this is not a necessary entry, but in case if it is a heavyweight material, you need some special transportation for the same, special arrangement to transport the same, we will recommend you to mention the weight in this net weight or gross weight or volumetric, whatever you want to mention, and necessary as per your company policy you can mention. Then delivery schedule, then you know that this is delivery date, schedule quantity 10. If you have a delivery schedule like 5 quantity has to be delivered by this date, then rest of 5 quantity to be delivered by some other date, then you can make a delivery schedule over here. So accordingly the vendor is going to deliver. Now delivery tab. In delivery tab, first 2 entries, over delivery tolerance and under delivery tolerance. This is very important, friend. Basically, these over and under delivery tolerance are by defaultly configured into your system by the configuration team as a standard procedure of your company. Okay, but in case if it is not configured, you can configure. Why this over delivery and under delivery comes over here? Like you have ordered a floor and 50 kg of floor, but a standard packing of floor is coming with the 52 kg. Then what will happen? You will mention over here 5% tolerance plus and minus. Then whatever vendor has quoted per kg to you, and he have delivered 52 kg instead of 50 kg, since the standard packing is for 52 kg only, then your system can accept entry of 52 kg at the time of goods received. If this 52 kg falls under the over delivery tolerance which you have mentioned over here, and similarly you can mention under delivery tolerance. So for example, we are mentioning 5% over and under delivery, and if there is any shipping instruction defined in your system, you can mention over here. Stock type, this is stock type, keep it unrestricted only, because at the time of goods entry we are going to change this stock type if required. Now we will go to this part, that is first reminder, second reminder, third reminder, and this reminder part will comes into picture when you have issued PO to a vendor, that a vendor have asked 60 days lead time to deliver the material and you have requested him to deliver in 15 days. So what you can put, you can mention 15 days, 30 days and 60 days. So after 15 days there will be a system generated reminder which will go to the vendor, second reminder on 30th day and third reminder on 60th day. If vendor haven't delivered goods to us, in that case this reminder will be activated on the set dates. So in my case I don't need these reminders, so I'm just cancelling it. Now we will go in this invoice part. These tax code are further configured into our SAP system by the configuration team or the finance team. In my system there are configured tax code as 0% output tax, input tax, B1, B2 is input interstate tax, like that. In your case it will be 8% IGST, 8% SGST and 8% CGST, like that. Whatever be the terms of tax code applicable to your system, that will be defined over here, and you have to select the applicable tax on the said PO from this tax code. I will select input CGST, enter. So my system has accepted the entry. Go on the condition tab. So this condition tab is exactly same which we have seen in the header data, and now we'll go to text tab, and you can see the text tab is basically captured from purchase requisition. If anything extra you want to add on, you can put over here. Then delivery address, and this is again an important part. Being a procurement professional, you have to ensure where you want the delivery of this material. Since my case there is a predefined warehouse VWH Indian manufacturing plant role. Friends, here this entry is automatically captured from my last PO for the said plant, because SAP has understood that for this plant I am requesting the material over this address. You can further change it. Warehouse unit 2 Indian manufacturing plant, address and everything, whatever you want to put. You can put this detail in the delivery address. So vendor is going to deliver your material on this address. Now I'll go to confirmation, condition control. You can click over here, you can see furthermore customer data, retail and everything, whatever. So there are few more entries like retail and customer data, but those are not necessary entries. So here you can see I have entered my all required data into purchase order form. So now we are going to use the check option to verify the acceptance of data fed by us into our portal. So you can see over the top there is a check button, click on it. No message generated for output of purchasing document. It means there is no error. This is display message. If there is any error into your purchase order or purchase requisition, it is applicable for both transactions. You can click over here and you can see the error is going to reflect. The green cube stands for the information, yellow triangle stands for warning, red circle stands for error, and red stop stands for termination. So by checking the count over here, you can check what are the number of errors or what are number of warnings you have in your purchase requisition or purchase order. This error tab and check tab are applicable for both transactions. So now we will go forward and save this purchase order. Save on yes. And as you can see at the bottom, we have created purchase order number 4500000026. Double click on the same and here it is. That is our purchase order. Now we will go back. If you want to change anything in this purchase order, we will minimize the create folder, and this is the T code to change anything, that is ME22N. You can execute it. By default, the last purchase order comes into the selection. We have already discussed about the same. So if you want to change the purchase order, click on this other purchase order tab. So now you can also view the other purchase requisition. Clicking on this purchase requisition, inserting the purchase requisition number, and this purchase order display tab will take you to purchase requisition display tab. And again click here. If you want to view other purchase order, you can click over here, enter the purchase order number, click on other document, and here we have our purchase order number. So this function is basically to change the view of purchase order or purchase requisition or the contract. Now we will go back, and if you want to have a look at this purchase order in display mode, you can also click on ME23N, and this is the display mode. All entries are blocked over here. You cannot change anything. Okay. So we have discussed about all three types of transaction: create, change, and display. And in this way we have created our purchase order. So in this exercise we have executed purchase order into our system. So here we have our purchase order number